Yo, what is up? This is Byron, aka Triple B, and welcome to another video that I'm making for you today. Now, in this video, it will not be an episode of what's going on with Triple B life or a movie review that I usually do. It's basically something else, and I decided to come up with something very original that I really want to do, and this video is actually one of them. So today I'm going to be telling you the top 5 things to know and the do's and don'ts about videography and when it comes to video production. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, you know how I've been doing video production recently, especially with a few classes that I took regarding those and the autism documentary that I made recently? Well, I am actually about to be going into that field, and I might get an internship very soon from one of the companies that I applied for while I'm studying college. And I might be doing some videos for you guys with this camera a lot, like I said before, which made me wonder, you know what, I'd rather do something original and talking about the do's and don'ts and the top 5 things to know about video production is something that I had in mind for a while, and I would like to share it to everybody. So, yeah, now let's get into it. Number 5 is to think about what you're doing before you do your project. Now, when I say this, I mean you have to have a plan to do what you're going to do for your project. Like, is it going to be a video type of project, or is it going to be like a movie project, or a TV show project, or a commercial project, or some sort of news project? Wherever you're doing, as I said before, you always need to have a plan. That includes planning to shoot where you're going to shoot. You also got to focus on the framing and the focus, everything above. Because I was literally learning a lot about those when I was in the video production classes, and they are exceedingly important. They're important to know because you got to figure out the certain angles and the center shots, or if you're going to shoot any videos from the left to the right, or behind someone, like over the shoulder, or a dolly, wherever you want to call it. Now, when I said dolly, I meant the object itself moving, and you would have to move along with the object itself moving. It could be a person, or an animal, or some sort of car going by, whatever it could be. Still, you always got to have a plan before you do those things. I'm sure everybody knows this, and number 4 is to always get permission to film at a place or wherever you want to film before doing so. Now, when I say this, I mean it, because it's very important to know this, and you don't really want to go off and film something without someone's permission to do so, whether it's by a company or by a person who does not want something to be filmed, or if they want to. Once again, it's still good to get permission before doing so. I mean, some would say yes, some would say no. It's like, this is why you have to be very careful on who, where, or what you film. Let's say this as an example for some scenarios. Some people will say yes if they are okay with being filmed, or with you filming anything. Some will say either yes or no. Others will say yes, but sometimes they actually have rules. As a matter of fact, a few months ago when I was doing the skills assessment type of project, I was basically filming in the library as part of the project itself to show some of the skills that I had to my professor. And I went in and asked the manager if I could film in the library, and he gave me a couple rules. One of them was to make the project academic, and he told me I wasn't allowed to film people, which is actually fair. And I followed every policy that he had regarding how I would film in the library. And I mean, once again, of course, this is something to always keep in mind, and other people will actually say no. And when they say no, they mean it. This does not mean to go ahead and film. You just go ahead and move on. Don't get upset about it. Just move on. That's the thing. Although at some places you do need to have special permission to do so. And like, not just you going out and just filming stuff, even if you try to get permission. Like, let's say, for example, at a theme park, and if you want to film on the rides as part of like some sort of promotion, they will not allow you to do it because of the law that they have, or some like park rules that they have. Like, I know Kings Island has those, or, you know, or Carowinds, or Kings Dominion, or Cedar Point, or Six Flags parks. I mean, every park has those rules. That also includes cell phones, because they literally ban people from using cell phones because of that, and also for safety reasons, which I completely understand. And I'm not joking when they say this, because you need to get special permission. Like, if it's for commercial use, not for like any type of like home videos. Like, I am dead serious, dude. If anyone catches you filming somebody or something, or when you're on something without permission, they will either get pissed or kick you out of the place. If it's some sort of public place where the manager takes over, you know, especially when you're filming the first responders. Do not go out and film, like, let's say the police without permission. That's how you get arrested, for filming without permission. And this also includes courts, because if you film in a courthouse, especially without permission, or if they say, you can go on with the camera, like, just don't bring the camera, because like when they say that, that means you cannot take pictures or videotape or use a cell phone when you are in court, like if you're running for trial, or if you're there for your own trial, or if you're getting sued, or whatever the case is. Unless if you get permission to do so as part of like some sort of commercial use or local news use, or if they say no to this, you need to follow those rules. You have to listen to the law. And this also includes shows, because there are times where people say, hey, like in the theater, you basically cannot do this. And like, once again, you basically cannot film shows. They will tell you not to unless if you get permission to do so, like to use them as like commercial use, you know what I mean? But yeah, just keep in mind of doing that when you're filming stuff, especially when you're filming plush videos like I have. Because like sometimes I would get permission to do that, but like I usually go to places where you don't always go to places where, you know, where you have to get permission. Like for example, if you go to a local park. I mean, as long as you're not filming people that don't want to be filmed, you know? And one more thing, do not film people if they don't want to be filmed. If they don't want to be filmed, just leave them alone. That's all you can do. Because some people are actually not comfortable being on camera, and I understand that. But still, it's basically the key to give people respect. Like, you know, giving people respect is actually a good thing, and you must do so. Because sometimes if you do this to the wrong person, people like get in the face, or they'll slap you, not in your face, but like they'll slap your camera like this. Like, you don't really want that, do you? Alright, let's move on. Number 3 is to get really good framing when you're filming your project. Now, when it comes to filming your project, you always want to get real good framing, because that is super important when you're doing this. It's like you cannot forget this. Otherwise, you're not going to get good footage from your camera, especially when you're doing your project. Like, let's say, for example, there are times where you have to make wide shots and you have to change it to like medium shots and medium close-ups, and even close-ups as well. Like, let me show you, for example. I'm zooming the camera right now, and if you see my face, this is a wide shot. This is medium shot, medium close up, and if you go all the way to my face, see how close I am right here? Yeah, that's basically close up. See how cool that is? And that's very common when it comes to using your camera, because zooming in and out is actually part of filming, and I assume you guys know that. And it is recommended for people who use cameras like me to use the zooming effects, especially on your camera. And that's just sure cool, you know? I don't even know what to say about it. Other than that, it's good to keep that in mind, especially when you're doing filming, but now I'm just saying about number 3. Number 2 is to always charge your camera before filming. Now, I'm not joking when I say this, because a camera has batteries, and you need something to plug in and charge your camera. Not while you're filming, but before or after you film. Because you don't want your camera to die when you're filming. Because, you know, that would be bad, right? Yeah, you don't really want that. So this is basically why that I have a plug with me. It's basically an outlet. But this is what I use when I use this camera that I'm using right now. And it's basically this type of plug with the USB cord that you can plug into, like, through an outlet that basically fits in through the USB or something like that. But yeah, this is something to keep in mind of. And I just want people to be mindful about what you're doing, especially when you're like a videographer. That's all I can say, right? All I gotta do is to not only plug it in, but just leave it alone for a few hours, and then when the battery's full, take it out, and you're good to go. That's simple. And number 1 is the most important thing I'm sure you guys know, and that is this. Don't break your own camera. Now, when I say don't break your camera, I mean it. Like, do not ruin it. And also, do not let anybody break your own camera. Because not only that your camera is your own property, but you have to treat it like if it's a baby, and you have to treat it like it's a living thing. Because if you break it, it's done. It's dead. Not just by battery, but by how you break the camera. Now, I'm pretty sure that people broke their cameras in recent years, whether it's by accident or on purpose. And maybe we've done that too as well, but I don't fully remember what we did to our previous cameras, but it's like, whatever. Now, here's the thing when it comes to using your camera to film things, or to take pictures. But with a video camera, just, several things to keep in mind of is to not put your camera in the water unless it's waterproof. Don't let anything like rocks or bullets hit anything like the lens or the cameras. Do not set it on fire. Do not touch the lens, which it does not destroy the camera, but it basically messes the clear footage from the lens. Do not put it in your mouth. Do not put it anywhere in your body except for your hands. Do not put your fingers on the lens. Do not throw the camera at a wall or something that could break the camera or anything like that. And most importantly, do not use your camera to film the solar eclipse. Now, I may sound insane, but I'm dead serious. Because from what I researched, is that if you use your camera to film the solar eclipse, it can actually destroy your lens. Like if you film it directly towards the sun. It doesn't just cook your eyes, it can also destroy your lens, which could literally make the lens go blind. Unless we have some special glasses to cover it up. Unless you have these special solar eclipse glasses to cover the lens up with. But yeah, that's actually all I have in mind. Alright guys, so that's all I have in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching the top 5 things to know about videography and the do's and don'ts. It has been a wild ride through this video. I'm glad I told you guys the things to know about video production. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe and share and comment if you want. And yeah, this is me, Byron, the multiple interests man, signing off. Keep your video camera safe and peace. Happy filming.